Right now on 7 News at Noon, open at last. Drivers can finally use all of Business 85 in Spartanburg after more than 2 years of all the construction and delays.
Also on the way at noon, a driver killed in a head-on crash on the interstate. Troopers say the victim behind the wheel was driving in the wrong direction.
And later, legendary television producer Norman Lear has died. A look back at his career creating all those classic comedy shows. Thanks so much for joining us this afternoon. A pre-Christmas surprise for drivers in Spartanburg.
That's right. All of Business I-85 is now open after the DOT shut down a stretch for construction back in 2021. 7 News' Henry Coburn live in Spartanburg. Traffic is on the move again.
Yes.
Fred and Amy, good afternoon to both of you. Yes, it is finally on the move. Fellow drivers rejoice because for the first time in over 2 years, you can get on Business 85 on one end and drive all the way to the other end without having to get off for a detour. Very exciting stuff. Now, you of course remember it was up to yesterday, up to this morning, that exits, or 85 business between exits 3 and 4B were shut down for bridge reconstruction. South Carolina DOT crews ended up replacing the bridge over the railroad tracks, Buffington Road and Howard Street. The stretch of Business 85 was supposed to reopen all the way back in July, but crews ran into complications that delayed the reopening twice now. Friendly reminder, if you are planning to drive through the area today, the speed limit on Business 85 is 55 miles per hour. We're told that law enforcement is going to be out helping out with the reopening of Business 85. And there are also going to be crews still moving around, removing and changing signage, something to keep in mind if you are planning on driving through the area. Just slow your roll, keep your eye out. And of course, the reopening of 85 business is big for businesses in the area, particularly in Heron Circle. Stick with us for 7 News at 4. I'll be talking to some of those businesses about what today and the new traffic means for them. For now, live on Business 85, Henry Coburn, 7 News.
Henry, thank you. Breaking news at noon. Spartanburg deputies say they arrested the third and final suspect in a robbery at Academy Sports in Duncan. Investigators say 18-year-old Tommy Tyler is seen on this surveillance photo wearing a black shirt and hat entering the store on Pine Ridge Road on November 18th. The sheriff's office says Tyler was arrested yesterday at a motel in Greenville County in possession of a stolen car. Spartanburg County charged him with armed robbery. Tyler will have a bond hearing this afternoon.
And developing now, we're working to learn the name of a driver who died after a fiery crash on 385 this morning. Take a look. We have video from that scene this morning. This happened in the northbound lanes in Malden about 1:30 at mile marker 31.5. Malden police say the car was going in the wrong direction when it hit a box truck head on before bursting into flames. Greenville County has not identified the driver. The condition of the person in the box truck is not known. Of course, we're going to keep an eye on this developing story. We'll update you on air and on WSPA.com. We're also working to learn the name of a pedestrian who was hit and killed by an 18-wheeler on 85. The Highway Patrol says this happened in Cherokee County just before 3 this morning. We're told the tractor-trailer driver was entering 85 at the Highway 18 interchange when a person on the ramp was hit. The pedestrian died at the scene.
All right, for a change of pace, let's talk weather on this Wednesday afternoon. We have sunshine, dry weather, but it is a noticeably cooler day across the upstate and the mountains. We're in the low 50s right now in the upstate, 40s in western North Carolina, where some of us woke up to a little bit of snow in the high mountains of western North Carolina. Elevations mainly above 3,000 feet. And right now we're still dealing with some clouds in the mountains, but it's all sunshine in the upstate. The cool air blowing over those ridges are producing some colder temperatures today, and that'll be the case for our afternoon. Downtown Spartanburg, a little bit of a breeze. We are partly sunny right now, mostly sunny in downtown Greenville, but keep the coats with you, hats and jackets as well. So we're talking highs today only in the low 50s in the upstate, 40s and upper 30s today in the mountains. We'll take a look at some cold temperatures over the next few nights coming up in our 7-day forecast.
Thank you, Malachi. Deputies say a man and a woman are dead after being shot at their home in Pickens. A woman called 911 around 9:30 last night, saying a gun was pointed at her before the call was cut off. Deputies tell us they heard a gunshot when they arrived at the home on Edens Road. A woman was found shot to death and she had other visible injuries. The sheriff's office says a man was shot underneath his chin. The gun was found next to him. He also died at the scene. The Pickens County coroner hasn't released their names.
The Spartanburg Police Department traded lights and sirens for Christmas lights and jingle bells for the annual Shop with a Cop event. Police officers joined forces with children in the community, checking out a few boxes off their Christmas list. As officers took kids down the toy and clothing aisle at Walmart to help make Christmas special. With many families struggling this holiday season, organizers say it's a really good opportunity to provide this for children. It's also a chance to bring officers and the community together.
It's really important to them that they make these connections with the community and with the kids to show that we're not just here just to arrest people, but we're here to make those connections with the community.
There were a total of 40 children involved this year. Each received a $150 gift card so they could run aisle to aisle and pick out from their wish list one gift for a loved one as well.
Breaking news at noon, the Carolina Panthers will not hold their 2024 training camp in Spartanburg. The team announced this morning the Panthers will hold camp in Charlotte next year as a way to streamline football operations. The Panthers trained in Spartanburg at Wofford College every summer since the franchise started, except for 2020 during the COVID pandemic. The city of Spartanburg tells us the Panthers training camp brought about $7 million into town each year. Next on 7 News at noon, the war between Israel and Hamas continues with no end in sight. The United Nations is now calling the situation in southern Gaza apocalyptic.
New at noon, legendary television producer Norman Lear has died at the age of 101. Lear was the creator of so many classic shows, including the CBS show All in the Family, and that led to more hit series produced by Lear, including Sanford and Son, The Jeffersons, Maude, and Good Times. His sitcoms touched on topics rarely seen before on television. Lear said this about his pioneering shows when he talked to CBS News 60 Minutes.
Did you plan to topple old taboos when you put these shows on the air?
They weren't taboos to me. You could hear anything we were saying on in a schoolyard. What was the big surprise?
I think the big surprise was that you put it on TV. First one to do it.
I fess up.
Lear won 4 Emmys. His television work also reflected his political beliefs. In fact, Lear founded the liberal advocacy group People for the American Way back in 1981.
The war between Israel and Hamas shows no signs of winding down. The Hamas-run health ministry says the Palestinian death toll has now surpassed 16,000. Ian Lee reports.
Street by street, house to house, Israeli forces push deeper into the heart of Khan Yunis. Gaza's second largest city is known as a Hamas stronghold. Military leaders say they're locked in the most intense fighting of the war. The United Nations is calling the situation in southern Gaza apocalyptic. Early Wednesday, a security guard shot in the air to disperse desperate Palestinians looting a shop. They're struggling to survive as airstrikes reduce entire neighborhoods to rubble. Thousands of children have died in nearly 2 months of fighting.
Only a ceasefire is going to save the children of Gaza right now.
The U.S. has pledged an additional $21 million in humanitarian aid for the Palestinian territory, in part to help build a field hospital. In their hunt for Hamas, Israel Defense Forces say they uncovered the largest stash of weapons so far near a school in northern Gaza. But their mission to bring hostages home is paramount.
I missed you.
I missed you too, baby.
Freed Israeli hostage Mia Leinberg has been reunited with her parents. The teenager and her dog Bella spent more than 50 days in Hamas captivity.
As much as I am happy to be back, we're still not done. Everybody needs to do their part to bring everybody back.
More than 130 hostages are still being held in Gaza, including 8 Americans. Ian Lee, CBS News, London.
The UN says nearly 2 million people, more than 80% of the population, have already left their homes. Many Palestinians fear they won't be allowed to return.
Coming up, the Republican presidential candidates, except for the frontrunner, former President Trump, square off again tonight. What to expect from the debate you'll see on News Nation.
We have lots of sunshine for your Wednesday afternoon, but it is a very chilly afternoon and a cold night expected overnight. We'll take a look at that and a look towards the weekend and our 7-day forecast.
Breaking news, Republican Representative Kevin McCarthy says he is resigning from his congressional seat in California 2 months after his historic ouster as the House Speaker. McCarthy made history in October when a contingent of hard-right conservatives made him the only speaker to be voted out of the job. It was a stunning fall for a one-time deli owner from Bakersfield who ascended through state and national politics, becoming the second in line to the presidency. He served in the post less than 9 months before a faction of 8 Republicans engineered his removal. His resignation takes effect at the end of the month.
7 News is your local election headquarters. Tonight's 4th Republican debate will feature 4 candidates, and the GOP frontrunner, former President Trump, will skip it again. Robert Costa has more on the election drama.
In just 40 days, voting begins with the Iowa caucuses. And 2 increasingly competitive Trump alternatives might agree on one thing.
We need to stop with the culture of losing, and we need to create a culture of winning.
The only way we're going to win the majority of Americans is when we leave the negativity and the baggage behind.
Sources tell CBS News they expect former Ambassador Nikki Haley, who is rising in the polls and winning more support from donors, to try to outshine Florida Governor Ron DeSantis at tonight's 4th GOP primary debate in Alabama. But she and others still face daunting odds against Trump, who commands wide support in the party.
Let's do it in Iowa.
In a town hall in Davenport last night, Trump focused on President Biden, a sign he's put his Republican rivals in the rear view. And if elected, he pledged to wield sweeping executive power on day 1, which Biden officials warned were the words of a possible dictator.
He says, "You're not going to be a dictator, are you?" I said, no, other than day 1. We're closing the border, and we're drilling. After that, I'm not a dictator.
President Biden, meanwhile, has returned to Washington from fundraisers in Boston, where he told donors he's not sure if he would be seeking a second term if his predecessor wasn't in the race.
Robert Costa, CBS News.
The 4th presidential debate for Republicans airs tonight live on News Nation beginning at 8 p.m.
All right, let's talk weather on this Wednesday afternoon. Lots of sunshine, whether you're in the upstate or the mountains, but it is a noticeably chilly afternoon. We're in the low 50s right now in the upstate, 40s to low 50s in western North Carolina. And again, a morning that started out with some snow in the mountains and chilly temperatures in the upstate. We have winds out of the northwest that's continuing to drive in that dry, cold air, and that'll be the case throughout the afternoon. So not only do you need a jacket to protect from the cold temperatures, that wind cutting through will also make it feel a lot colder. So you want to dress in layers if you're out this afternoon or into this evening. We are going to see mostly clear weather for the rest of the day. Lots of sunshine already, making itself known in the upstate and the mountains. We showed you Spartanburg a little bit earlier, but here's a live look at Spartanburg looking north on Church Street. Notice the flag, how much it's flying. It's a good breeze that's out there. Downtown Greenville at Falls Park, we are partly sunny this afternoon. Good start to the afternoon on the Clemson campus. A look at Lake Greenwood. You can see the ripples on the lake, an indication of how breezy it is out there this afternoon. And our live look at the Biltmore Estate, where we have sunshine this morning. Again, we had some snowflakes flying early this morning in parts of western North Carolina, as far south as parts of Asheville, but none of that really made its way any farther south than that. We are holding on to 40s and 50s for afternoon highs, pretty much where we are right now. Friends in the Highlands had about an inch of snow early this morning. So again, what we're looking at, sunshine, dry weather, and chilly temperatures through the evening. Our sun sets around 5:17, and it goes through temperatures from the 40s to the 30s in the upstate. Very chilly evening, 30s to low 30s. Could be dealing with freezing temperatures as early as 9 o'clock tonight in western North Carolina. All that leads to a much colder morning tomorrow morning. We stayed above freezing today in most spots, and that helped with the precipitation in western North Carolina not sticking. But tomorrow morning, all bets are off. We are much colder. A freeze in the upstate, a hard freeze in western North Carolina, and tomorrow's high temperatures are a degree or two warmer than we are today. That slow increase in temperatures is going to be something that we hold on to as we head towards the end of the week. High pressure slides to the south. We get more of a southwesterly wind that drives up our temperatures, taps into some of that warm air to our south and west. And for us, it increases cloud cover on Saturday. It also opens close the door for rain on Sunday. So we're looking at dry weather today through Saturday, but on Sunday we're looking at a chance of rain returning to the forecast. A lot of events were postponed till this weekend, and it looks like we're going to have great weather on Saturday, so that's good news. Our high temperatures go from 50s today to low 60s for Friday and Saturday. We are tracking that rain, though, on Sunday, and that'll be the case in both the upstate and the mountains, where temperatures today in western North Carolina stay in the 40s.
Thank you, Malachi. Taylor Swift's huge 2023 continues. She's been named as Time's Person of the Year. The magazine says the honor is given each year to the person who wielded the most influence in the previous 12 months. Time has 4 covers featuring Swift, who is the first figure of the arts to be named Person of the Year for her success as an entertainer.
And a lot of why we picked her is, you know, look, she makes wonderful music. She is both the writer and the hero of her own story, which is kind of this incredible idea. But she's also giving us a larger narrative about who she is in popular culture.
Time says other contenders for Person of the Year were Barbie and King Charles. The magazine will be out a week from Friday.
Well, we have a holiday event for you in western North Carolina with a name that says it all. 7 News' Christine Scarpelli has more on what to expect at Saluda Hometown Christmas.
It's called Hometown Christmas. That's right here in downtown Saluda. It's happening December 8th, this Friday. From 6 to 8, come enjoy refreshments from local businesses that will stay open just a little bit later. Mountain Song, a local choir, will fill Main Street with heartwarming sounds of Christmas carols. The event is brought to you by Saluda Business Association and the City of Saluda. There's also a special church service at First Baptist Church located on Henderson Street just down the road. Mayor Tangi Morgan tells us more.
Saluda is a special place. It's like a town that time has forgotten, and Hometown Christmas brings everybody together. It's a great community event. You see people you haven't saw in years. It's like a big Christmas party, a big celebration for our town.
The mayor says Friday could get a little busy, so get here nice and early, and a special guest appearance by yours truly. Here we're in Saluda.
Come and see us.
Christine Scarpelli, 7 News.
Well, coming up, this family Christmas tree brought more than just holiday cheer to home. There was a baby owl in it. How they figured that out when 7 News at noon returns.
A family got a bonus ornament when they brought their Christmas tree home in Lexington, Kentucky. The Whites found a live baby owl in the branches 4 days after decorating the tree.
How'd they miss this? Michelle White says she has 3 dogs and the tree is set up in their family room and still no one noticed. A carpet cleaner found the owl while working at the house while the Whites were actually away. He actually caught the bird, took it outside, and let it go.
I have so many questions. First of all, they put the lights around it, missed the owl. 3 dogs, missed the owl.
I don't get it, but that story was a hoot. And owls see you again at 4.
Can't touch that.